Randy Orton still wants to etch his name in the history books, and what better way than to have a classic with his protege?
Welcome to the Pin Down, the Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Show. Kent Brown here with Gene Sherry, wrapping up the end of June, but it's always a busy time in the world of professional wrestling. We have Night of Champions coming up. Before you know it, there'll be Evolution. And then, of course, we have a big Saturday night's main event on the horizon. But Gene, the biggest news this week, or one of the biggest news, is the fact that the WWE is staying in Saudi Arabia. They're going on Saturday afternoon, our time, to go out there. There's been, as we said, a lot of stuff happening in the Middle East. We're not geopolitical majors by any means, but the WWE is going to be out there in Riyadh for the Night of Champions. Do you think they should be there? What are your thoughts on the WWE deciding to stick with their plan?
I'll be honest, man. They shouldn't be going over there, in my opinion, man. And like you said, like, we're not trying to make this a political discussion, so we'll keep that out of the way. But I'm just talking about in the matter of safety. You know, like, we're already hearing they've got workers over there that are stuck in Qatar. There've been travel issues. A lot of these mess up things are happening right now. And that just tells me this show is something that should have been postponed. Like, we get it on the business side. Saudi Arabia, they're paying a lot of money to see these superstars. But at the end of the day, like, this is a wrestling event. And anytime it gets to a point where, you know, lives could potentially be at risk, even if it's a 1% chance that these superstars, the talent, the crew, if their lives are at risk by even 1%, I think it's best to just stay off of it. But at the same time, this is the same company that still operated when COVID happened. You know, in 2020, the show must go on. This has been the Vince McMahon, you know, mantra in this pro wrestling business. They're built differently. But in a situation like this, where you're sending A-list superstars across and you're putting them at risk, to me, it's not worth it. I think the fans in the States would appreciate it if they stayed in the States. But my heart goes out to any loved one that is patiently waiting for this show to be over so we can get them back home.
Yeah, and if you look at it too, it wasn't just the Vince McMahon mantra. It was the UFC mantra. You know, as somebody that was in the sports media at the time, sports book betting, UFC kept us going. Every week they had an event. They went into their own performance center the same way that WWE did. So now that there's this TKO merger, it makes a lot of sense that the UFC side, the TKO side, the WWE side, if anybody is going to go ahead and do this, it's probably going to be this company. And look, they've had a good track record with going over to Saudi Arabia. The one thing that WWE has done the last 7-8 years since they started this, when they went to Peacock, they left the WWE network, they agreed to go to Saudi, they've had a good relationship with them. So it's not like, I have a feeling if this was like year one in this agreement, this would be postponed. But the fact that TKO and UFC has been over to the Middle East countless times in the last several years, WWE has been over to Saudi Arabia countless times, I do think that helps. And there probably is a little bit of levity and breathing room around the company, knowing the fact that we've done this before, we're used to this, this is not our first rodeo. I'm not surprised because, as you said, the show must go on has always been the mantra with pro wrestling. But I do think the fact that you have so many people involved with both companies and the TKO in general that have been over to that region when there's been a lot happening since COVID, I do think that helps a bunch. But the other interesting part of it, as you said, is workers were there early this week. They didn't get the head start the way they normally would. We know the wrestlers will come in right before the show. They're going to be pretty much in and out. But you do wonder, as you said, limit the families, limit the exposure. Pretty much whoever needs to be there should go there, and then nobody else, because just as a heads up, 2 days later, they're back where I live here in Pittsburgh doing Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. That is a quick turnaround to go into Saudi Arabia, do the show, and then come back to the States less than 36 hours later and get ready to do 5.5 hours worth of shows because they're pre-taping next Monday because of SmackDown being on the 4th of July. But I do think the fact that TKO has been there, done that, and have good relationships with the government, I think it'll be okay. But I can't say I'm surprised, but I certainly understand why there's hesitancy.
Oh, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about TKO, right? Yes, TKO may have a great relationship with Saudi Arabia, but the optics, if you're a fan, you're looking at this like, wow, is this much? Why is this being so much of a money grab? of this? Why is it so important for this to happen? I think that's the question fans are having right now. Like, hey, why not just move the show, bring it to Chicago? Maybe even go to the UK. Shoot, maybe Puerto Rico. There's so many great venues. Why is it so important for this to happen? And I think we know the answer to that. It's the dollar bills.
Absolutely. And there's no doubt about that. At the end of the day, the money talks, and the contract was signed, and therefore they will be in Saudi Arabia. Let's now go back to your neck of the woods, New York City. Fanatics Fest was over the weekend. I was there for a wedding, was not there for any work stuff. You were there running around. You said it was one of the craziest convention center type environments you could ever imagine, but you were in a good spot. You got to cover John Cena and Charlotte Flair. The WWE was all around Fanatics Fest. Tell our audience what you saw and just kind of your experience there at Fanatics Fest in New York City over the weekend.
Oh, it was incredible, man. It was incredible. See, everyone who needed to be there was there. Taker, Cena, Charlotte, Cody, Jey Uso, everybody. And what stood out to me was how many pro athletes are real WWE fans. You saw Draymond Green, Kevin Hart go down the WWE entrance. Jordan Childs, Olympian. Like, this was a great event.
Tom Brady, Eli Manning.
I'm forgetting the big names. Like, come on now. Like, this is crazy. It was really nice to see WWE at that forefront. Like, it is mainstream. It is box office. And it was just really cool to just see how popular pro wrestling has gotten. Pro wrestling is in. They had one of the biggest booths in the entire convention. Cena, got to see him firsthand, was inches away from him as he was doing all the Fanatics games. He was trolling. He wasn't giving fans anything to be happy about. Charlotte Flair, oh my goodness, she was such a sweetheart. It was a 10 out of 10. And I think if you're WWE, UFC, TKO, you're really happy with the turnout and how great a reception that the product got.
And how great was it that Cena just stayed in character? He was, somebody that he's always been a WWE first type of guy, but the fact that he's at Fanatics Fest, he's a heel, and John Cena could have easily almost went off script and been the John Cena of old, being sort of the baby face type of guy for a few hours. And instead, you were right there. He was just completely not having it. He was, quote unquote, he's saying, I'm trying to ruin professional wrestling. He was kind of bringing that moniker to Fanatics Fest. And I love when the wrestlers stay in character. That's one thing that sometimes I miss about the old school wrestling is the fact that we know too much about these people in real life now. We know about their personal lives. But John Cena I'm not John Cena the Kai. I'm not John Cena the actor. I'm John Cena the heel champion. And I thought it was great. Every clip I saw, it was like, okay, that's what I want to see out of my pro wrestlers when they're in public.
And to that point, I wish more would do that, man. I don't want to know about these wrestlers' personal lives unless it's on a separate documentary. But if you're with the fans, I want to see you in character the entire time. And Cena gets it. He's one of the few superstars that doesn't let you completely behind the curtain. I got a chance to interview him, and he said absolutely nothing. He was giving absolutely nothing. But John Cena, that's why he's one of the GOATs, man. He sees the game differently. And as you said, WWE is always first. Someone else I got a chance to talk to, Charlotte Flair. She gave us a few minutes of her time at Fanatics Fest. Check it out.
I believe the fans are the heartbeat of what we do. And for me, whether they're booing or cheering, I do it all for them. My happy place is in the ring performing and seeing all, like, whether it's a little girl that's 6 or her grandfather that's 72. I either want to put a smile on their face or I want to make them frown, and it's the most rewarding experience.
Be sure to check out the rest of the interview dropping later on this week. All right, Saturday, Night of Champions. We got a double main event. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, CM Punk, John Cena. Kent, my question for you, which will be the better match?
I'm going to say CM Punk and John Cena. I mean, granted, I'm a little bit biased here. I have my Punk shirt on. And look, CM Punk is a guy that when he's at his best, he is arguably, not even arguably, in his mind, the best in the world for a reason. Their promos have been so good back and forth the last couple of weeks. I definitely feel like this has been, when you look at John Cena's career and CM Punk's career, you probably are not going to be able to write a paragraph or two without mentioning the other name. And I have a feeling that they're going to bring it. Everyone kind of always rips the 5 moves of doom. John Cena's proven he's way more than that. Even CM Punk, he's a little bit older, but he's still very sharp in the ring. I have a feeling that they're going to put on a great 4.5, 5-star type match. A lot of it in the ring. I don't see a lot of extracurriculars outside. I think these two are going to bring it. It's probably going to be a classic match, and I can't wait to see it. So I'm thinking out of the two, that's going to be the better match.
I got to disagree with you, my friend. I am going Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. This match has so much history in the making. We've been waiting for this. Cody Rhodes, as great as CM Punk is, best in the world, Cody Rhodes is arguably the best wrestler on the roster right now. Former champion Randy Orton still wants to etch his name in the history books, and what better way than to have a classic with his protege? I think this match will be, I got high expectations for this match, to be honest with you, because this was one thing that we knew we wanted to see between Cody and Orton. One of these guys finally going to get in, and there is actually stakes involved. Whoever wins this is going to be the 2025 King of the Ring, and I can't wait to see it. So give me Orton versus Cody.
Yeah, and what's cool about this match, you talk about the CM Punk and John Cena, the fact that you can't write one of their stories without mentioning the other name. You can't write the Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton story without mentioning the other name. As you mentioned, the protege. He came up through Legacy. Cody Rhodes was kind of the afterthought behind Randy Orton years and years ago, and now Cody Rhodes is the headliner. Randy Orton, if he wins this, he gets to go to SummerSlam and get a title shot in addition to being King of the Ring. And you look at past King of the Rings, there's been a lot of great people that have won that. Both of these two would love to have that honor. I'm happy it's happening. I'm happy to see both of these guys in a co-main event. And of course, if Cody Rhodes wins, it does kind of open that question of, does he win that title back? If Randy Orton wins, does he necessarily get to get John Cena and beat him after losing to him recently in a pay-per-view match in St. Louis? The stakes are high. Both matches should be awesome. Night of Champions should be great on Saturday. We can't wait for it. And then coming out of that, we go right into, we have Evolution on the horizon. We have Saturday night's main event on the horizon. We have a stacked Monday Night Raw and SmackDown next week. I will be in attendance in Pittsburgh when we come back next week. I can't wait to discuss this pay-per-view along with what's happening and transpiring in the world of professional wrestling. And once again, this has been The Pin Down, the Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Show.